in Italy we are not so punctual. We are not used to be so punctual. Therefore, enable me to feel at home and have some delay. Peter, the recording can wait for a while. I saw that you started the record. Dr. Peter, yes. First, Dr. Peter Mellens, that I am going to introduce in some minutes, but just because we are waiting for as a participant to this webinar, I'm just giving a look to the participant. I saw Abdullah Sheikh from Somaliland. Switch on your camera, Abdullah. It has been a long time we haven't met. Where are you, Abdullah? I've lost you. I saw your. So there are people, I would say, from all over the world. I am happy for that, and this is also because the topic is very important. I've lost Abdullah. Where are you now? Yeah, it is disconnected. Yeah, Abdullah, long time we haven't met. Happy to see you. I don't hear you, but I see you. Okay, let's wait 1 minute more and then we start.
Ok. Il faut mettre. On envoie des bancs séparés.
Hello.
Hi, Abdullah.
Sì, professore, mi senti ora?
Sì, perfetto. Come va, Abdullah?
Oh, come stai, carissimo professore?
Bene, grazie. Te come stai? C'hai una gran barba?
Sì, la barba bianca, grigia.
Quanto tempo che non ci siamo visti? Sarà 30 anni.
Dei bei anni siamo passati insieme. Carissimo professore, come stai? La famiglia,
bene.
La sorella?
Bene, tutti bene. Te stai bene?
Noi stiamo bene a Sheikh in Somaliland. Yeah, sì, quindi questo è il tuo ufficio, grande.
Sì. Dai,
la solita che io sapevo?
No, è diverso. C'ho più spazio per te adesso. Ti aspetto.
Yeah? Sì, è molto grande questo, spazioso.
Ti aspetto.
Professore, ci incontriamo in Addis Ababa, inshallah.
Okay, let's start. I am happy that after 20 or 25 years, I have had the possibility of seeing directly Abdullah Sheikh, Professor Sheikh Abdullah, that is from Somaliland, and he was in Italy I think 20, 25 years ago. I also don't remember perfectly.
Yes, yes.
I'm very happy to see you. Okay, so
Thank you, Professor.
so now I ask everybody to unmute the microphone because we like to start. Before starting with the presentation of Dr. Peter Mellens, that I will introduce you in a while, I just inform especially the members of the World Association for Bioiatrics of two nice things that happened recently. The first is that we have a new application from the Bulgarian Association for Bioiatrics that has just last week has sent us the application for becoming a member, and therefore now we start the procedure for the evaluation. And then I would like to congratulate with Professor Ahmet Gümen from Turkey, that Ahmet Gümen is a member of the board of the Farm Animal Veterinary Medicine Association, that is a member of the WAB, and Professor Gümen was appointed last week as Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Forestry in Turkey. Therefore, congratulations, Professor Ahmet Gümen, that I saw you here in the list of the participants. Yeah, Ahmet, thank you. Congratulations, really happy for this new position, very important position.
Thank you very much.
It is an honor for us, for our association.
Thank you.
Okay, now I would like to start with this webinar. The speaker of this afternoon is Dr. Peter Mellens. Dr. Peter Mellens currently is a business lead on the World Animal Health Information System program of the WOAH, of the World Organization for Animal Health. And therefore, in this role, he has to keep oversight of the activities and implement the strategic direction of this system. And as he will explain, the World Animal Health Information System is a platform for recording country disease situation, and so practically is a database. It's a database that collect all the information on the outbreaks and so on, but he will explain better. Peter was born in Belgium. He qualified in veterinary medicine in Belgium in 1990. He worked across UK as large animal practitioner for several years. And then finally in 2005, he joined the UK government veterinary service at the Animal and Plant Health Agency. That is an agency belonging to the Department for Environment and Food and Rural Affairs in the UK. From 2016 to 2019, he was the head of field delivery for the agency. And then finally in 2019, he moved to the World Organization for Animal Health, so the former OIE. So he moved to Paris, and he was the deputy head of the World Animal Health Information and Analysis Department. Therefore, he is the best, the most competent person for presenting us the World Animal Health Information System that is for sure of great importance also for us to be known. Dr. Peter Mellens, thank you very much for having accepted this invitation. We met in Paris during the last General Assembly of the WOAH, and your colleagues explained me perfectly the system, but now is your turn to show what is this system to all of us. Thank you very much.
And thank you for inviting me. I feel incredibly honored to get this big audience of very important people to present to. But before I would start, I have two colleagues here with me, which probably are even more important in presenting this. One is in the room, and hence I will switch my own camera off and keep the room camera on. That is Natalia Lamberjon, and Natalia has been since 2016 the business project manager for the WAHIS project. Let Natalia say hello.
Hello everyone, it's good to be joining this event and participate to demonstrate how our platform will be useful for your work.
Okay, and the other person I have on this call, I think, is Dr. Gregory Pasimo, who's a veterinarian epidemiologist who works in the World Animal Health Information and Analysis Department. And Gregory, if you just can switch your camera on and say hello.
Yep.
Okay. But for logistical reasons, I will do this presentation in two parts. I have a presentation that I want to give you, where I want to go through the basic elements, because what it will do is provide you with the context of what we do and why we do it and how we do it. The second part of it will be more of a live demonstration of a part of the system. I'm not going to show the entire system, and I will say this at the start. There is an analytics section, which currently we are really working hard to try and make it function better. There are some tests ongoing at the minute with that part. Showing it in a live system probably would not be conducive, but I would be very, very happy if you're happy with the first part of this presentation at a later point. So maybe if you want to invite me to show you the second part once it really is up to scratch. So without further ado, I will start with the presentation. And please, if you have any questions, I don't know how this works, but I am very happy to take questions either during or after. It's just a bit difficult to see whenever people ask questions. If you give me a second. So, can you see? Yes, you can see the presentation.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good, good, good. So, I hope everybody obviously knows the World Organization for Animal Health, which formerly was the WAHI. We're based in Paris. And we are the organization, an international intergovernmental organization with about 213 members. And one of our mandates is to gather all the information on important animal diseases. And initially, when the organization was set up in 1924, it was really done after the rinderpest outbreak. In Belgium, in the world, and it was set up there really to try and safeguard trade across the world. We're now a lot more than that. We set standards on animal health, science, research, and as such, all the work that we do underpins the rules that are in place with regards to trade and risk management and disease management across the world. I just wanted to start just by pointing out the reporting obligations of the organization. So when countries become a member of the organization, they are meant to report in a particular way. What we really want countries to report on in the World Animal Health Information System is on WAHI, WOAH listed diseases. The numbers keep on changing all the time because they are on the review. It's, I think, actually currently 118 WOAH listed diseases and 4 emerging diseases. So my apologies for having these slight changes. It is just because this presentation is not always 100% up to date. And as you all know, what makes out a notifiable disease from a WOAH perspective, there are three really big criteria that are important. First of all, it is the international spread of that pathogenic agent in at least one country that previously didn't have that disease. A second criteria is that some of these diseases can transmit to humans and have very, very severe consequences, or obviously will have a significant impact on the health of domestic or wild animals. And the third, and it's really important, you need to have a reliable means of detection, diagnosis, and a precise case definition. If we want to be, we are the organization, and WAHIS is the platform, and what sets us out from other platforms and other organizations is that we are mandated to do this. We verify and validate all the information that is given to us, and as such, we will, for example, not submit to the platform, to the public, any rumors that we have. Whatever is there is what the veterinary services have reported and agreed to report. So the rules on what constitutes needs to be reported in the system are based on the WOAH annual health codes. There are terrestrial codes and aquatic codes. They can be found on the WOAH website. And if people have a problem, then let me know. I'm sure we can show you at the end of the presentation, or we can send you some links. There's basically currently in the WAHIS platform, two main elements with regards to reporting. There is a 6-monthly report, and they give an overview on a 6-monthly basis of the known situation of all WOAH listed diseases in the countries over time. And it aggregates information from immediate notifications, follow-up reports, and also information on diseases that are endemic in a particular country. The other main thing is the early warning module, which gathers information on immediate notifications and weekly follow-up reports on exceptional events, alerts, and responses. So how does that then work? When a country is faced with a particular listed disease, which previously wasn't there, they would have to report this within the immediate notifications module. And then they would need to do weekly follow-up reports. They will need to do that until the disease has been either eradicated or until the country says the disease is now stable. Stable meaning they are not intensively trying to eradicate it anymore. They might still monitor it, and they will at that point decide to report in the 6-monthly reports. So what the system, what the organization actually does is it gathers information from the field through national official veterinary services, quite often with information from laboratories. We will get these reports into WAHIS. We will verify them with the veterinary services. If there is any questions, we will ask them and get an answer. We also take information from disease intelligence, and what that means is we have systems where we scan for rumors. If these rumors appear and there is no notification in the system, we will approach the respective veterinary services and see if they can either deny or confirm whatever is in this rumor. Once an immediate notification has been verified and validated, it will become available on the public interface for anybody in the public to see. We also send out alerts for most immediate notifications to individuals who have subscribed to a subscription list and alert list. And we'll show you in a second where you can get subscribed if you are not. That information is then used by animal health workers, countries, the general public, researchers, universities. But the main reason why it is there is it enables the people that use this information to make risk-based decisions. Risk-based decisions either with regards to trade, with regards to disease prevention and eradication, with regards to following the evolution of disease, with regards to setting animal and public health policies at the country, regional or world level. Geographical scope. Currently, we have 218 reporting countries and territories. So there is some countries and territories which are not members, but which will still report through WAHIS. The information in WAHIS currently is all the information from 2005 onwards to present. There is other information before that. It's in a system called Handy Status, and if people want that information, they can contact us and we can try and provide that if that is needed. It is roughly on 183 diseases of terrestrial and aquatic animals. And currently these numbers have gone up, but when these slides were done a year or so ago, there was 3.8 million outbreaks and 7.8 billion cases recorded in the database, all with geographical, temporal, quantitative details and epidemiological information. So it's a wealth of information, and it makes this platform the reference platform, the global reference platform for animal health. Very quickly go through immediate notifications and weekly follow-up reports. And the reason why I do this is I will be speaking in a second when we show the platform about events and outbreaks and reports, etc. You probably all know this, but the concept of an event for WAHIS is a single outbreak or a group of epidemiologically related outbreaks of a given disease that is subject of a notification. An event includes all related outbreaks reported from the immediate notification through to the final report. So, country has no disease, then finds disease. That is the immediate notification. It is also the start of an event. In that event, you will have the immediate notification, and then every week a follow-up report. That is what should happen. Not all countries do this, but they should every week report a follow-up report. Until the final report, where either they say the disease is eradicated, it's a final report, or they can close the report as stable, in which case they need to report in the 6-monthly report. This summarizes it, and I will send this presentation after this, and you can distribute it. There's not a problem. The date of the end of an event, by the way, is the most recent date of the end of the outbreaks. So in an event or a number of reports, in these reports of a number of outbreaks, in order to close an event, all outbreaks need to be closed. I've already said countries can also close as a situation sufficiently stable. The information about this disease will be reported through the 6-monthly reports only. The date of the end of the event is the most recent date of the end of the outbreaks, the reference date for opening trade, regaining official disease status of freedom, or making a self-declaration of freedom, depending on what disease we're talking about. So it's very important that countries note very carefully the date of end in the platform. For 6-monthly reports, what really is important there is an occurrence code. What we're after in 6-monthly report is an overview in the country, in the zone, of whether disease is present, whether disease is absent, or whether there is no information available for disease. Now that might sound funny, but no information is important information for us. Just wanted to add this to the slides. It's a slide about how we support our members, but also the public, by the way. But members really in training on how they can report. We're doing this, for example. It is also a support network. We have a support desk. The links are there. I will, as I say, share this information. We have in that support desk very important frequently asked questions, video tutorials on how to report and sometimes how to consult. We have for most of the reporting focal points a one-to-one training support that can be given, and we also do this one-to-one training support for people who want to consult the information on the platform. Obviously, we're a little bit limited with resource, so if any of you guys want to have a more deeper presentation than what I will give, then please get in contact with the support desk, ask there, and we will come back to you. We will try and put in place an opportunity to do so. What's not on this slide is we have a catalog of services which sits within that support desk. In that catalog of services, we promote, for example, extraction of data when they are not easily available. We promote the production of mapping. We promote also the training support or some of the presentations, and Natalia probably has one or two other things that she would want to say about this. No?
No, just you need to sign into the platform and the services will be available to you. If you want to that we participate in some of the events like such as this one, we also could contact, leave your details, what for the event, if it's a face-to-face or virtual, and then we could be glad to join to discuss about the platform or the value of the data we do collect. So it's also an opportunity that we could how to say, disseminate the value of information and awareness about this information to the broader public within your network or beyond your network.
Okay, I'll just give you a very quick update about the program where we are. So we went live with a new platform in the 9th of March 2021. We've since learned an awful lot of things, but what we're really after is to get a user-friendly, intuitive platform with high-resolution dynamic mapping. Interoperability is one of our wishes. That's not so easy achieved in a sensible way, but what is certainly clear is we have open access of the data. Anybody can access any of the validated data that are available. There's an optimized version put in place, especially looking at the early warning system in September 2022, and it made it an awful lot more user-friendly. I have the link to the platform here too. Again, you can consult the presentation and do so. I don't know why I went back now. So what have we achieved in 2022? Important, we put in place a maintenance that really has helped to stabilize the platform. We optimized that early warning module. We brought in sort of a semi-automated annual shapefile update for countries if they want to change the shapefiles of the maps. We continue to work on the dashboards. This is the analytical section, and I've said we are currently still working on this. It's a work in progress. They will work, and when they work, they will be an incredible resource. We're trying to interconnect with the animal disease information system of Europe. And we also have currently are starting to scope an annual report. By the way, the annual report will become the next module, and it will gather information on animal population, on the veterinary capacity in countries, on laboratories, and also will have a section on emergency preparedness, contingency planning. Because we don't have the interoperability, we have a weekly data extraction in place. Gregory is very much in charge of that. It is a temporary solution. It extracts all the information of the early warning module, but not the 6-monthly report, on a weekly basis and makes it available through an external SharePoint site. We don't open that up to the public. If people really want that information for whatever purposes it may be, they need to get in contact with the support desk, let us know. Gregory will then go through this extraction in a Zoom meeting and show really what's available and how to use it. and then they will get access to that SharePoint site. It's currently we have about 75 individuals and organizations that have access to this. It's a really useful resource, but I'm reluctant to make this available to the public just like that because of the difficulties there are in interpreting the information that is available. What's coming up? So we will interconnect with WAHIS. The 6-monthly report, the dates need to be changed on this. I'm really sorry. We just agreed a new roadmap. 6-monthly report. We're working at this at the minute. It will probably be available early 2024. We've done all the public interface rebranding and optimization. We are currently looking on how to integrate codes for disease, pathogen, and species into the system. The early warning module was completely updated. The annual report I have mentioned, and the dashboards that work will continue for now. And on top of that, we will continue with this maintenance and evolution of the platform. Very quickly mentioning interconnection. Obviously, everybody now speaks about One Health. It is a really important piece. WAHIS is an essential source of information for other systems. And for us, we offer official validated information by WOAH members. And as such, WAHIS reinforces its role as the reference database to animal and zoonotic diseases information worldwide. I know there's a lot said about Empress-I. Empress-I has its own use. It's a really useful system. But for your information, about 91% of the information that is published on Empress-I is actually taken from WAHIS. The other bits is things that are not validated. These are things that we do not want to publish to the public. That is the reason why. But they do take our information as a reference for what is happening in the world. We will connect with WAHIS hopefully before the end of this year. And we're currently looking on this global data sharing because, you know, the data in one database combined with the data of other databases and the context of whatever is happening at a local level really adds value to any data set that is available and helps anybody to actually make decisions which are really meaningful. We're going to try and do this through a data warehouse option where we will have a data lake and then get the APIs to connect into the data lake rather than into the system. And for WOAH, what we will do in the database, in the data lake, is not just put data from WAHIS, but also data from Animuse, which is the antimicrobial system, also data from other systems, put them all in there, and then make them available to the public. That work is ongoing and probably will deliver within a year. I will skip over these slides. I'll just show you what there is, but I'm going to show you that live, and I don't think it would be useful just to go through the slides, but the slides will be available for you to refer to if you want to. So we will show you how to consult. I've already said why it is important. You will see these things whenever we go into the system. But when you go on the public interface, you'll see a map and an overview of the most recent immediate notifications. You can then go and look in the system. You can either look by reports or by analytics. Analytics is the dashboards. It sort of combines a lot of information to give you a view of what really is happening. By reports, there's two ways, either the early warning system, you know, the immediate notifications and follow the events, and then there is the 6-monthly reporting system. I'll skip over these because I will show you these live. So I don't want to do this like this because it doesn't really give you any idea. In the dashboards, so the bit I will not show, but I just want to highlight, we have 3 different dashboards at the minute. One is disease situation, one is quantitative data, and one is surveillance and control measures. The disease situation dashboard gives you an overview by semester for a country for a particular disease or all the diseases, whether or not the disease is present, absent, or there is no information. The quantitative data gives an aggregated view of all the quantitative data in a particular semester for a particular disease for whatever you're looking for. And the surveillance and control measures gives an aggregated overview of the surveillance and control measures used for particular diseases in that particular country. There are videos in this presentation. I would ask you to look at the videos in the presentation, and I'm not going to show them at the minute. I would be far keener when we get the dashboards to function in a decent way to come back and actually show them live, because I think it is a far more useful exercise. But the videos are there and you can access them and you can look at them in peace. If you have any questions, then let me know. So this is an example of the disease situation dashboard. And you'll get timelines with different colors. There's a legend here on the side. So you can see the video here. I'm gonna skip through it. Right. So the quantitative data dashboard looks a bit like this. Again, there is a video there that you can follow on how to do things. As I said, it's not working 100% perfect. If you have problems with it, my advice to you is please clear your cache in your computer. Try and look for information. Don't look for information in the whole world. Try and restrict your search to smaller areas, country, and a particular disease rather than all the diseases. It will work a lot better, but we hope to actually make this work a lot better over the next few weeks. Just to repeat all the information that we have, and I know this was a whistle-stop tour, and I'm really sorry, but I know I only have an hour, and I do really want to spend some time just going through the platform itself and trying to show you really what we have. In the meantime, before we do, does anybody have any questions before we show you a live demonstration?
I don't know if there are some questions from the floor. Perhaps Peter, I have just a rapid question. First of all, congratulations for this system, but you will show us also in more details. Do you know if there is such kind of system also at the level of human diseases?
The WHO has obviously their systems online which show an overview of human diseases, and I know they have a website which is in a way quite similar and gives an overview like that. But unfortunately, I haven't looked at it recently. We can have a look if you want after, but they do have similar websites.
Good. Because I suppose that some diseases, let's say the zoonosis can be common, so some information can be shared by the two systems.
Yes, and currently that is maybe worth saying. So, you know, COVID has been a complete disaster for several years for a lot of countries and regions. Maybe one of the good things that has come out of it, if something good comes out of it, is it has really shone a light on the One Health approach to things. It has got a variety of countries, regions, organizations, partner organizations to start working together really closely to try and combine data systems, to try and get earlier warning systems, and all of that work is ongoing at the minute, and is really well. I think a year ago I would have said it was in embryonic state. I think now it is starting to grow a decent embryo, and I'm sure if the investment continues, it will start delivering something that is in addition to whatever these other systems are. So that was one question. Does anybody have another question? No?
No time.
Here's one question in the chat. It's from Harold Potman, and he asked, could you tell which are the 3 emerging diseases at the moment?
The 3 emerging diseases, I'm going to let Gregory have a wee look at that because he can very quickly consult, but I believe there are 3 aquatic diseases at the minute. Gregory. You're on mute. We will come back with an answer on this.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
We will stick them. We will stick the 3 emerging diseases in the chat when we have them. At least that way you can find them back again. Okay.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Sorry, can I ask something?
Plemislav, please.
Can you say something about the spreading of African swine fever now in the world? It's very important for the topic in the EU.
Sorry, I didn't understand the question. Can I say something about
the spreading of African swine fever in the world?
About the situation of African swine fever?
Swine fever, yes, because this topic is very, very important in Europe now. And it's the biggest problem.
I'm gonna show you through the public interface. Whenever I show the public interface, where you can find all the information, which is updated every 3 weeks. There are 2 places. Obviously, there is the platform itself, but there is also the WOAH website where we collate a report every 3 weeks on the African swine fever situation in the world, but also a report on the highly pathogenic avian influenza situation in the world. And there is also on the WOAH website an overview of all the COVID outbreaks that have happened. So we will show you in a second.
Okay, thank you.
Here's another question from our past president, Emile Bouchard. He says, according to the map shown, Canada seems to be one of the rare countries not participating yet. Is it true?
Should be checking.
In not participating as a member? Is that what you say?
I think so.
No, Canada is a very, very important member of WOAH. I don't know.
Yeah, well, sorry. Yeah, on the map it was white, like a few African countries, and all the other one were green or red. So I assumed that Canada was not participating.
Yeah. So the information on the presentation was done a wee while ago. It may also be information that was taken of a test system, just as a demonstration. And I just want to be really clear. If you want to refer to the information as it is, you need to go to the WAHIS website and look on there. So please do not look at the information on the presentation because it might not be correct. Okay.
Okay.
It's done for demo purposes only.
Okay, it will save me a few phone calls. Thank you.
Yes. Another comment. So the most important emerging diseases for bovine species at the minute by WOAH standards, there are no emerging diseases for cattle, for bovines, okay?
Okay.
So, and Gregory has just put the 3 emerging diseases in the chat, which are Carpedena virus, so it's actually only 2, infection with enterocytozoon hepatopenae. And I'm sorry, I'm not an aquatic person, and that shouldn't be good enough, but I am not, and that is that. So there's only 2. Just to try and explain why this number changes. So one of the things we encourage countries to do is to actually inform us of any information that can be of significance to the world, to other countries. That might be about a disease which is not a listed disease. Let's suppose you find well, COVID is a nice example. We found COVID when SARS-CoV was not a listed disease when it started. It was reported by countries through Article 1.1.5 of the Terrestrial Code, where countries had a choice to give us information on any incident of SARS-CoV infecting animals. Most countries did this. It was then reviewed by the SCAD Commission, and the SCAD Commission then decided at one point to say that SARS-CoV would be an emerging disease. So it's a constantly changing picture. Reporting it as an emerging disease then enables us to get lots of information, and then that enables WOAH and its members to decide it enables WOAH and its members at some point to decide, is this worth keeping on reporting? Does it actually do the three criteria I showed you earlier on, do they apply? In which case it will become a listed disease. Or is it not of importance, in which case it will be, it will not be an emerging disease anymore, and countries don't have to start reporting. So it's not a solid picture that is stuck for years and years and years. It is a picture that keeps on changing all the time.
Let's move to the platform.
Let's move to the platform.
Take one of the example of the disease, epidemic hemorrhagic
No,
disease.
it's cattle.
No, I said, and use it as an example for
Yeah.
the demonstration.
Okay. No, this is the wrong one. Have seen this?
For our practicals, then we have to get experienced by searching the diseases that we are most interested in.
Let's start.
And my apologies for my colleague. I just want to explain. I was asked at the start to speak slowly because some of the people here do not speak English. Hence, speaking slowly makes them understand better. When you, and maybe Natalia can assist me in this, and I can be her guide. So when you go onto the platform, you end up at the home page. This is the home page of the platform. Do you want to share yourself, Natalia?
Yeah.
I'll let Natalia share herself and speak through this, but you do need to speak slowly.
Okay. The second, I'm going to share the screen. Can I share any matter deactivated partage écran for other participants?
Okay, that's fine. I will do it. I will share. So when you get to the home page, Natalia.
Yes. Okay, so you are going to share and I'll talk. Okay, so on the home page, you see the overview of, like Peter said, different way how you will be able to consult information. So we have by reports, which is accessible over the computer or so which is accessible immediately at the top menu. As you can see here, you have by reports, where here you will have information on annual disease events, and through the 6 months report, where we do collect all information on all WOAH listed diseases semester by semester over the year. Okay, and you have analytics. You could experiment yourself, but it will not be looked at details through the demonstration session. And Peter said we will look at it later at another opportunity. Immediately, you are invited to subscribe to the distribution list. It's basically whenever there is immediate notification happening exceptional event, as soon as we publish this exceptional event worldwide, you will get a notification. So we are very asking you to subscribe because it's a quick opportunity to be alerted on the situation worldwide. Okay, You just click and you will be proposed another form to fill in to subscribe it. When you will go down, you will quickly see what are the most recent situation from alert perspective in the world. So you could see is here we only present the validated information, basically country submitted information to WOAH, we verified with them, and then we validated it, and then it became publicly available. So here is the date when country submitted information and we validate. So you see there, some of the data is already received today from highly pathogenic from Philippines. You have a lot of highly pathogenic notification, but you have from Libya limpy skin disease on 22nd of June, which might be of interest, for example, for your audience. And these events are visible afterwards on the map. So just a quick summary, whatever is in orange, it's ongoing outbreak. So you could click on it. For example, let's say we are interested by Libya. So there is 3 outbreaks. We will just go a bit more in details because they are grouped together. But I'll show you, so you can see exactly the location, where is it? And if it's in orange, it means it's ongoing outbreak. When it will be in green, it will be resolved outbreaks. When they're in circle, it means it's in domestic species. When it's in triangle, it's in wild species. So when you click on the outbreak, you could see immediately when it started, on the 1st of June, okay? And when you could get more information, you could see what is the location and the latitude and longitude of this outbreak, okay? This is how you have a quick overview whenever there is exceptional events happening worldwide. Okay, so I invite you afterwards to look deeper, because here is just the most recent events. So this is a list of 10 immediate notifications, but of course we do receive on a daily basis all these events. So when event starts, it starts with immediate notification, and then countries have obligation every week submit as a follow-up report. So this is how you get the list of all events. The most interesting feature, which could immediately you could restrict your search, you could, for example, pick up on interesting disease. Let's say here you could start to search like foot and mouth disease, for example. You could add another one, so you don't only do it one by one, like let's say limpy skin disease, right? And you will have an overview here. It's loading. You could also save these filters, and next time you will arrive to this page, it will be the way how you will see this information, okay? So these are results of 2 diseases that you're interested in. Of course, you could also restrict on different regions. It's possible to restrict it to. How to interpret this information which you immediately see? First of all, the most recently updated events are on the top. So the latest notification that we received was from Israel on limpy skin disease, and it was on 28th of June. And event started on the 28th of May. So it's a follow-up report of the situation. You could also see that the reason of that notification was reoccurrence of an eradicated disease. What else is important on this page? When you see it is in orange, it means that this event is ongoing. When you see in blue, it means that event is stable. It's not any more possible to control it with the right measures. So it's gonna became like an endemic disease, and the country will declare that from now on, they will continue to notify it only on a 6-monthly report. So there is no any more point to update it every week. The situation is not changing anymore. It's out of control, so they will continue to report it outside. And you have also status which is green. It means that event is resolved and ended. Okay. We could have a quick look just at the first event, which is on limpy skin disease. Maybe interesting example will be South Africa, because you could see that there is actually a lot of reports. So country been really reporting now weeks and weeks and weeks this event, which started on 26th of May. and still ongoing, and latest report was received on 26th of June. In order to have, so you already see that this is a sub-2. If you want to have a deeper look what's going on in this event, you could click here on this icon, event dashboard, and see the more close view on the situation. So report is currently ongoing. And here on the top, you could see the overview of the event. The most important information, its event occurred in the zonal compartment, when it started, when was the first confirmation date, when it was also previously occurred in the past year. So you could see that it's quite it was notified in 2021, but the previous occurrence of this was in October 2020. You could also have a quick overview where the outbreaks are located on the map. If you do some presentations, so you do have it's quite a big notification. And then you have more detailed view on all the notification history. So by default, you have here different tabs to navigate through different aspects of event notification. So history shows actually when the report started to be notified and what is the most recent situation. So if you extend it here bigger, you see that the first alert and immediate notification was in 28th of May 2021. And it started only with one outbreak. Then in the next follow-up report, 3 more new outbreaks, 8 more new outbreaks. And here on your left, you see the total number of outbreaks. So if you go, okay, some outbreaks start to be resolved, sometimes the situation is stable. So you could see here, so for example, in this event, in this report, some of the outbreaks were resolved, so the total number of outbreaks dropped. This is how you could track the situation, and you don't need to go through all this notification, let's say each time, so but you could have a quick overview directly through the system. So you could see that in the last follow-up report, there was 53 notifications, and in total through this event, 104 outbreaks reported. Okay. Then you could see what were countermeasures applied and when they were applied. So you could quickly see that in immediate notifications, they were applied the quarantine and movement control. Okay. Because it's in domestic, when it will be outbreak occurred in wildlife, you could switch to wildlife. What are the quantitative data reported? So you could immediately see the graph on the susceptible cases and deaths and have a quick overview of the situation. And through the reporting history, you have a more visual view. You could understand at a more context of logical context what happened. So you could see that in the immediate notification, they give a bit more context of this event, coordinate, modify. Okay, so something, I don't know if Peter mentioned, but when you see latitude and longitude precise, there is an option actually to country to declare whether they give a precise location or it's an approximate location. So this kind of comments are additionally important to gather. You have also all the outbreaks are listed here. So it's quite interesting view. So you can see the whole picture of all notified outbreaks. Here is a lot of pages. I'll just give you the view. But how you would interpret easily this information? For example, if you are only into, since events started in 2021, maybe you are now currently only interested to look at the ongoing outbreaks and not to look at all outbreaks. So you will filter by continuing, and system will show you here only the ongoing outbreaks which is currently occurring in the country. If you want to see what has been resolved, so you can see that so far, since events started in 2021, but only 3 outbreaks actually resolved. So it means situation is quite how to say, not anymore as a stable and in a good path. It's still a very, very active disease inside the country happening. And you see what is the epidemiological unit affected and the number of outbreaks reported, okay? And more details when each outbreak started and ended. And if you look at the eye, you have even much more detail about each outbreak, where you see the affected administrative division, latitude, longitude, and the species affected. Okay, as a method of diagnostic, and the control measures could be reported at outbreak level or at event level. It's a country make a decision at the moment they do the notification. So the last one is interesting as you see, diagnostic test applied. So you also have an overview which diagnostic lab was used in which laboratory, which test executed, and the result and when it happened. Okay, this is how you interpret any information at event level. This is that we do collect in early warning module. And of course, so this is a high event overview. If you want to see more in detail, the last report which is sent and with all the overview, this is how you will see the whole information displayed in one page. You could download it, which is quite useful. And you could download it only, for example, if you follow this evolution of event week by week, you could only, for example, extract what are the new and updated outbreaks in order not to print the pages of event because it's a long event. And you could, for example, also print with a map or without map if you're interested, and then you will generate a PDF file which we could share with your colleagues or administration or direction. Okay, so this is a quick overview of disease situation, of event situation dashboard. Would you like maybe pick up an example, another one from the participants that you are interested and we could look together?
I'm sorry, I can't see the chat, so if somebody wants to tell us if there's anything.
There was a question on, I think, on lumpy skin disease, because a question was the most important emerging diseases for bovine species at the moment. Perhaps you can select bovine and give a look to the last outbreaks.
Okay. I think it's a difference of emerging diseases. It's a bit, I think we are a bit confused by the terminology, because when you say emerging diseases, it's diseases currently present in the world. But for us, we have a distinction. WOAH listed diseases, it's the ones that we are kind of following, and emerging diseases, it's whatever is exception and not part of the regular follow-up of the diseases we are following. Okay.
But maybe the question is, what are the most important diseases that currently for bovines are reported through the system?
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the question that is being asked. So put in animals, Tanya.
So
Terrestrial.
we could have a terrestrial disease, but then we need to pick up disease by disease and list them all.
Can we do species? No.
No, there is no. Species group, no, not included here. They're included in,
Animal type.
No, it's a terrestrial and aquatic.
Okay.
Only terrestrial and aquatic, but then you will have, for example, here you could see there's whole diseases. You could precise which ones are your interest.
Good for anthrax.
Sorry, anthrax?
Yeah, why not?
Mm.
It's quite challenging, I think, also in Africa. Also, Professor Sanusi in the chat wrote FMD, rabies, and pest de petit ruminant are very endemic in Nigeria. I think in some other countries. I think perhaps also in Somaliland with my friend Abdullah Sheikh, they have some problem with petit ruminant, pest de petit ruminant.
So I select anthrax, and in Africa, and this is the affected countries.
Yeah, my favorite country.
We do have affected countries, so and then you could see more in detail situation about some of them of these events, or just filter by this country and disease, and you will get more details when you have this list of affected countries.
By the way, the red line you see in this table,
yes,
means it's an immediate notification. It also says in the report number, it will say IN, but the red line is an immediate notification. So if you put in a particular bovine disease, and for a particular region or the world, you can choose or a country, And you get all the reports. If you want to see, well, what's really the most recent things, your first eye is going to be drawn to the immediate notifications.
Yeah, I think here is
Yeah.
not a good example because they only submitted notification in 2022, and in theory they're supposed to do the follow-up report, and we didn't get any news from them.
But obviously, you know, what we don't have is we don't have a policing power.
Mhm.
We count on the willingness of countries to report, and the willingness of countries to report is variable depending on a variety of factors. How well is the veterinary service established and resourced? What policies are in place? Are there other socio-economic things going on in that particular region? Yeah, I mean, we could be pursuing Sierra Leone to report. You know, and that would maybe be a good thing on anthrax to do this. On the other hand, we also need to take into account that there are limitations, you know, and yeah, that is maybe from a WAHH perspective is something that we're open to criticism, but on the other hand, we are very clear. We are not a policing power. We don't apply penalties. It is up to the World Trade Organization to make decisions. If something happens with regards to trade, it is not up to us. We have a very strong Director General, Dr. Monique Elwa. She has some very, very good network capabilities with delegates in countries. She does her very best to do this, but we cannot slap fines on countries that are not reporting.
Do you have a perception of this discrepancy among between the reality and the reported situation? Or do you know whether there are some areas in the world? I suppose this is especially in the south of the world, in countries where they have a social, economical reason, where the veterinary service are perhaps weaker than in other parts. But I don't know whether you have a perception of the entity of this discrepancy.
What we do is we do once a year for the general session, a report for the general session on the transparency of reporting. And what it does, it normally picks 3 or 4 diseases which are important in the world, and it gives you an overview of what the situation is. And what it normally also does is, in general, give an overview of how many reports we got in, you know, and some of the transparency, and I'm going to call them indicators because this work is still in development, but one of the indicators is how long does it take between a disease being confirmed and a disease being reported. And the range from memory, and we can get these reports if you want to, the range is somewhere between 24 hours and 150 days. Depends on the disease, it depends on the country, on the situation. The funny thing is, you know, for example, Ukraine, who is currently a war zone, but they have been reporting incredibly well. So you can't really stick a rule on this. Yeah, this is the dashboard you're showing, Natalia?
Yes.
So there is a way to get this.
Here you have animal group, and you could, for example, through animal group, when we will have a view to see you, for example, to show you next time on the actually on the dashboard, you could pick up
Cattle, sheep,
so
bovines, cattle. Cattle is probably of most interest to you, is it?
Yeah, I mean, yes, due to our association, yes. Thank you.
Mhm.
You could pick up all the regions you want to see, for example, or let's say Africa, so we have a view. And you quickly have an overview on disease situation, what is the situation worldwide. So this is a timeline where you see disease present limited in the zone, infection suspected, and in green is the absence. So you could already see the overview of all African countries, and
And all
diseases.
bovine
And
diseases.
all bovine diseases. And if we look in details, you could actually search for specific diseases as well. Wait, something again. So African swine fever,
That's
anthrax, you
bovine.
can see by disease also situation for your African swine fever, by anthrax
correct.
in which countries, and then you can see blue tongue in which countries. You see, it's interesting like this, bovine babesiosis in which countries. So these are actually bovine diseases, which I said, which are the
African swine fever is not.
yes, so we need to select it other categories if you want to look at other bovine tuberculosis. So these are the diseases which WOAH is following: Brucella abortus, melitasis, dermatophilose, echinococcus, epizootic bovine leucose, hemorrhagic.
So the answer to your question, which was, is there a way to see what what you asked us, what is the most important diseases being reported? What we can show if this dashboard really is up to scratch, and we were lucky that it is actually working, because sometimes it doesn't work, and I would rather show you when we have it completely updated. What it can show you is the situation, as I say, by semester, by year, for particular diseases, for particular countries or regions, whether or not the disease is absent, present, whether there is no information reported, whether there is a suspicion, whether there is, and these timelines will show that. The map below it will show really whether the disease is present or not. And then below that is another map normally, and it gives all the aggregated outbreaks that have been reported. The problem with this dashboard is, and we were speaking to the ClickSense people who populate, which software is actually underpinning this. It gathers information from so many different places in this platform and puts in place so many different really specific business rules that even the Click technology, the ClickSense technology, which is very good, is at its limit of what it can do. And we're currently working with Click to see if we can actually come up with a way to make this these dashboards a lot more responsive. Hence, I wasn't keen to start showing them in live. But the important thing is that what Natalia is showing here, on every one of these screens of the analytics section, there is a button called export next to each table. You can export all the information. And you can actually analyze that information in great detail, and it is really useful to do so. So the good thing of the dashboard is it gives an aggregated view of what is in the immediate notification follow-up report section of the platform and what is being reported every 6 months by countries. So it combines diseases that are exceptional events with diseases that are endemic, stable. And I know there was a question in the chat I saw with one eye, which says, what defines a stable disease? And I know Natalia said, it's out of control. It isn't exactly that. I think it is considering whatever disease it is. A veterinary service will make a decision whether or not they have the resources and the policies in place to actually deal with this, whether they have the will to actually completely eradicate this disease, yes or no. And there are many, many factors involved in that decision. Some of it is money. Some of it is it a vector disease, a vector-borne disease? I mean, you can't kill all midges because then all swallows die. So, it's a really complex question to answer. But the fact is that countries can decide to close an event as stable rather than as final. And a lot of the African countries, foot and mouth disease, for example, is reported in the 6 monthly report for the simple reason that it is logistically very difficult to eradicate disease with the resources they have and the geography that they have and the socio-economic things that are happening in some of the African countries. So this is an overview of the early warning system. and a little bit of the analytics section, which you were very lucky that it actually did work. But there was a question about, can we see the situation on African swine fever, which is not a pediatrics question, but we will maybe just go back to the homepage of the platform and just show you where you can find that information in an easy way. If you just go back to the platform.
Yes. How?
Stop sharing.
Okay.
And then share.
So I will open the right window. Okay. Hold on.
Share.
Can I talk, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, from Somaliland, Dr. Abdullah Sheikh, Igat Sheikh Technical Veterinary School. I would like to confirm that PPR or Pestipitirumina is exotic in Somaliland from 2005 until now. Then there is another thing, camel disease that with the name of sudden death, camel sudden death disease, which was started in 2006. Up to now, it has not been. There is no confirmatory diagnosis. We sent, since we are lacking efficient laboratory, we sent samples to Kenya, Maguga, Kenya Research Institute, and so far there is no any confirmatory positive result. Therefore, it is something that unidentified disease, and it is recurrent or sporadic. Every time it's coming, every 5-10 years it comes once, and it kills a lot of camels. Therefore, this is what I would like to share with you. Thank you very much. This very important representation.
Were you asking about PPR in Somaliland, or were you asking about camelpox disease?
I am confirming both diseases, especially PPR is exotic or endemic in Somaliland. It exists, but it is under control because they are vaccinating with the help of FAO. They are vaccinating. Therefore, it is under control, but it is endemic. But the camel sudden death is yet to be diagnosed, and the situation is not clear. It is airborne disease. It is airborne disease because it started from upper region of near Eritrea. Within 1 month or 2 months, it reached Garissa of northeastern Kenya within 2 months, and it affects only camel. Therefore, it is something not clear.
Yes, and you're right on camelpox. We do get the odd reports. It is also it is not easy to come up with a case definition. And remember the slide I showed you. We need a case definition. It's very difficult to come up with a case definition that all countries agree to. And this is one of the reasons why the information on camelpox is not from our platform, not maybe completely up to date, because it isn't always clear that whatever is being reported is really consistent with the case definition that we apply.
Camelpox exists in all Somali region. But we know it. We know it with this clinical sign, clear clinical signs, and but it kills only the small ones, the young camels. But it comes only around the rainy seasons, and we know that. Therefore, it's not so much big threat now. But this is the one which is sudden death is the one. Although it is sporadic, but it comes and it kills a lot of camels. That's undiagnosed and unrecognized phenomena.
Yeah. So currently we have 3 reports in there, which are all final. One on Kazakhstan, one in Israel, and one in Palestine. It may well be that for Somaliland that this report is through the 6-monthly reports. But the point I wanted to make is when we look at our codes, there is a whole lot of discussion always ongoing when these things are reported to actually say, is it really camelpox or is it not? And this is around the case definition that is not entirely clear, and that work is ongoing just to try and crystallize this to make it a lot simpler for countries to report it. But you're quite right. Okay, thank you for your intervention.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Any other questions? I unfortunately have only 10 minutes left, and I'm really sorry.
Yes, also we limit our times because no, I don't know whether there are other questions. So the question of the definition is of paramount importance, because it's a case definition different from country, as you mentioned. Also in the chat there was a question, what is the criteria to define a disease as emergency disease? Perhaps also this is to clarify and to be shared with us. I don't know what is the precise definition for emergent disease for WOAH, or perhaps it's indicated in the code.
Yeah, I think you have multiple reasons to notify the WOAH listed diseases. It is the first occurrence in the country, if it's a first occurrence in a zone, if it's a reoccurrence in the country, if it's a reoccurrence in the zone, if it's a host increase in the host, like it's a new host affected, then you need to notify it. And I think if there is an increased peak of
if the epidemiological picture of the disease changes, these are all reasons to report as exceptional events. And I want to make a difference between an exceptional event and an emerging disease. Because you asked me, what are the criteria for an emerging disease? And the criteria for an emerging disease are set by the SCAT Commission and considered by the SCAT Commission alongside our science division. Now, what I can do, if you want to, and I will try and do this, I will get in contact with the head of science in the WOAH. I will see if there is a more defined thing written down either in the code or in one of the scientific documents, and I will forward that to you, Arcangelo, with some of that information. Okay.
Thank you very much, because you opened a lot of doors for discussion this afternoon, and for sure we will be back to WOAH in the future for some more information, some more details in the different aspects of animal health. I don't know whether there are some other questions, because otherwise.
There is one question that I would like to show. In the beginning of this presentation, someone asked where we could get more information about Africa and swine fever, because it's a very important situation nowadays. So we have, when you go to the WOAH homepage, WAHIS homepage, and you scroll down, you have additional information, and you have a dedicated portals, which each 2 weeks basis we update the global worldwide situation on any avian influenza, African swine fever, and COVID. So if you click here, you will be redirected on the WOAH platform, where you have more information linked to the African swine fever. And you have a global situation, and in the global situation is, you see, each 2 weeks you have a recently published report disease report situation, and it look like wait a second, I'm gonna open it. Look like this. So you have what are the situation, what are the recent updates, the regions impacted. So you could see overview here and download this document and share it with your colleagues. Okay, and here you have more African swine fever situation report, like situations on species affected, and the map with more clear view. And so it's our epidemiological team who are developing based on the data collected in a WAHIS system. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Natalia. So you really opened many doors and many points of discussion. Yes, we had already a webinar with Professor Marabelli of the WOAH, now with you. So we started this kind of contact with the WOAH that is very enrichment for us, full of opportunities. If there aren't other urgent question, I would say we leave Peter and Natalia to their next business commitment, if they are not. So Peter and Natalia, thank you very much. I'm happy that we met in Paris. It was only 1 month ago, but we managed to organize immediately this webinar. It was very useful when I decided to visit you in your in your desk, and I'm happy that I disturbed you the time, and but it was very, very fruitful. Therefore, thank you to everybody. Just for announcing the next webinar of the World Association for Bariatrics, that will be at the beginning of August. It will be the 2nd or the 3rd of August, and the webinar will be directly from Mexico, because we, as the executive committee, will attend the National Congress of Mexican Association for Bariatrics in preparation of the next World Bariatric Congress that will be held in Cancun in 2034. Thank you, Peter, really. Thank you, Natalia, much appreciated, really. And thank you to everybody for having attended this webinar. See you soon.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Professor and Peter and Natalia. Thank you.
To everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Peter, Natalia,
Bye to everyone.
from the house.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
We keep in touch.
Bye.
Bye-bye.